the Sports Renegades podcast on SportstownChicago.com.
Only the Bulls, only the Bulls, only the one and only Chicago Bulls. Who can set the court on fire? Only the Bulls. Keep us burning with desire. Only the Bulls. Who can bring another title here? Who can thrill 'em, chill 'em, make 'em jump up and cheer? Only the Bulls. Only the Bulls. Only the one and only Chicago Bulls. Who can make the madhouse rock? Only the Bulls. Who can shoot and jam and block? Only the Bulls. Who can fly and sepals down the floor? After losing little battles, coming back to win the war. Only the Bulls. Yeah, Bulls. Only the Bulls. Chicago Bulls. Only the one and only Chicago Bulls. Chicago Bulls. All around the world, they know this team will survive. Who's got the pride, the glory, keep the dream alive? Only the Bulls. Only the Bulls. Only the one and only Chicago Bulls. Who can fly through the air? Who can get 'em off their feet? Who can always snatch a victory from the jaws of defeat? Who can play the toughest defense, shatter and scar? Get Chicago up and rocking, crying out for more. Only the Bulls, the Bulls, only the Bulls, yeah, Bulls. Only the one.
Welcome back to the Sports Renegades on SportstownChicago.com. I'm Ryan Stuprich.
And I'm Ryan Risky, and we hope you enjoyed that old Bulls song,
Yeah,
kind of a classic Bulls song.
I think that was made maybe around 92, 93, because in the beginning I heard it said, it said something about to win another title, and I don't think that was made. That sounds like an early 90s song to me. So
yeah, that doesn't sound like one that was made recently.
well, it doesn't even sound like one that was made during their second three-peat. I would think that would be circa 92, 93. I couldn't find a year on it, but
Could probably make an argument that it was made in the late 80s just because they had bad music back then.
it could be. It could be. It sounded. I mean, it's a catchy tune, but it's a little
You
strange.
think that they'd play that like every once in a while at the United Center, try to bring it back.
I've heard it on the radio. I've heard it on Les Grobstein's overnight show.
How many hours is his show?
It's 12 to 5. So
Wow.
So he does overnights. Yeah, overnights 12 to 5. And then he doesn't do them Saturday mornings and Sunday mornings, but he's off those 2 days. But yeah, he does it that whole time, and he plays a lot of that old music stuff. It's actually kind of interesting. But tonight in Milwaukee, the Bulls and the Bucks play. The Bulls lead the series 2-0, and something really interesting about the NBA: if San Antonio would have lost yesterday,
all the series would have been 2-0. Yeah,
which would have been the first time ever, I think, that it happened ever since they started the 8 teams per conference going to the playoffs, which was in 1980, I think. So yeah, it's very interesting.
I mean, it kind of shows which teams are good and which ones aren't, or which teams are struggling. And I just saw a chart that was kind of probability and which teams have a good chance to come back from the deficit, and the Bucks have a 7% chance of beating the Bulls now.
I'm sure it'll go down after tonight too,
Hopefully,
especially if they lose. I was thinking. I think my early prediction was Bulls in 5. Now I'm thinking Bulls sweep.
That would be funny though if they won and then the percentage went down.
Yeah, like even after the Bucks win, the percentage still goes down. That would be hilarious. Yeah.
It's like, well, you're for sure going back to the United Center.
Yeah, that is true. There's currently a game on right now. That would be Cleveland at Boston. Cleveland has a 2-0 series lead, but the Celtics have been playing them tough. I'm impressed with them. Think
about what they would be doing if they still had Rondo.
Yeah, if they still had Rondo, I think things could have been a little different because Rondo wants out of Dallas. Him and Rick Carlisle have not gotten along. I've heard. I'm pretty sure he wants out. He's going to be looking for a contract. Although I don't know what team is going to give him, a contract of any sort. I mean, it's
especially when you shoot 30% for free throws.
Yeah, he can't shoot free throws. I mean,
how can you only? How are you a guard that shoots 30% for free throws? I mean, DeAndre Jordan shoots 40%.
Right. I mean, he's a typical point guard, but I'd much rather have 15 other people before I'd take Rondo. But the Cavaliers have an early 19-17 lead in the first quarter over the Celtics right now. I'm thinking the Cavaliers will probably sweep, but you never know. And then later on tonight, you have Chicago-Milwaukee, of course, and then you also have Golden State and the New Orleans Pelicans. That'll be tonight at 8:30.
The Pelicans have a 3% chance of coming back to win that series.
They also played really well in Game 2. I was hoping they would pull off the upset. I still want Golden State to win the series. I like Golden State a lot, but they really hung in tough. I would not be surprised. I think Golden State will win this game. I would not be surprised if the Pelicans win Game 4 to bring it back to Golden State. I'm not now, like, as the way I look at it, the only clean sweep I can see, I feel like Washington can sweep the Raptors.
Really?
Well, they're up 2-0 and they're coming home now. So they won both games at Toronto. I'm thinking I'm the one that's most likely going to be a sweep is the Bulls and Bucks. I think the Bulls.
I mean,
have
Golden
a chance
State could sweep the Pelicans. Cleveland could sweep Boston. One interesting thing that I've kind of found since the playoffs are started, since the end of the regular season, you haven't been hearing any Tom Thibodeau being fired rumors.
No, I agree.
I can't remember the last one I heard.
Not until that it really started to come to fruition, like in mid-March, when everyone was thinking, he probably is going to be fired. Depending on how far they go, he could stay. It's just it matters if.
I see no reason why he should go. I think the last time I can remember it was when we were coming home from the Bulls-Wizards game.
Yeah, that was in early March. So,
I think, or maybe it was on the way, or after they won, they were still talking about that he's going to be fired.
That was the big story, through the grind of the season is. Gar Forman and John Paxson aren't big fans of Tom Thibodeau and the way he manages the team, and is he going to stay? I think Tom Thibodeau's done a good job so far, especially in the playoffs. I think he's managed it very well.
I mean, think about it. I'm sure Cleveland would love to have Tom Thibodeau.
Cleveland would like to have Tom Thibodeau. The one interesting thing is Scott Brooks got fired by Oklahoma City.
It only took him 7 years to get fired. I mean, he's not even a good coach.
Right. And the thing is, if Tom Thibodeau's interested, first you'd have to make sure that Kevin Durant is in there for the long haul and he's not going to move to Washington or something. But,
well, if you find that out, Thibodeau will make sure to burn his career into the ground with his minutes that year.
Right, so that's a possible destination. That's probably the most likely destination now.
I don't see it. I don't see it. I see if he goes anywhere, I'd see. I don't know where he could go.
Well, the early prediction was if he was going to go, he was going to go to Orlando because they have a young team. But I'm thinking Oklahoma City. If Tom Thibodeau's desperate to win now, which obviously he is, he's been coaching for a long time, and he should have already been to the finals with the Bulls, but the Miami Heat made sure of that.
And Derrick Rose's knees made sure of that as well.
Yeah, Derrick Rose was the main issue there. It's just it'll be very. I hope Tom Thibodeau stays. Because then who are the Bulls going to be stuck with? Who knows who the Bulls will be stuck with? Because they're not getting Scott Brooks.
Was it Fred Hoiberg?
Fred Hoiberg from Iowa State. No, thank you.
Yeah, remember when all the rumors that they were going to hire him, and then his 3 seed lost to a 14.
Yeah, then he lost in the first round to. He didn't lose to Georgia State. That was Baylor that lost to Georgia State. I forget who.
He lost the game that he had that they should have that Iowa State should have won.
Well, and I've said this before, but they had him mic'd up for a game in the Big 12 tournament, and they played like his post game press conference for a couple minutes. He sounds like a dummy. I mean, he is not good. He's very unenthusiastic. He's very dumb. He's like, everybody get your sleep tonight. He reminded me of Mark Trestman, and I don't want that.
We don't need another one of those.
I really don't want that. I don't think Fred Hoiberg is the way to go. I'm hoping that was just a report, and Garpax isn't really into that, because that would not be good.
Man, another that makes me want to throw
It was another
up.
Mark Trestman type.
Yeah,
he reminded me of Mark Trestman.
The Mark Trestman in the NBA. That just wants to make me throw up thinking that the Bulls were thinking about that guy.
I mean, could you imagine a Mark Trestman type, trying to coach a team with Derrick Rose and Joakim Noah and Jimmy Butler and all those
That'd be the most divided
all
locker
those
room.
Egos and
that'd be the most divided locker room in the NBA.
That would be something.
I could see Mark Trestman telling people to get their good night's sleep.
Yeah, he's like, you got to get your sleep. We got a big game tomorrow. Blah blah blah.
And we're probably going to lose by 30 points.
Yeah, that's not what we want to see. I'm increasingly thinking that Tom Thibodeau will stay.
I think he will. I mean, this team has looked like a different team from the regular season. Rose has looked really well.
The Bulls are one of those teams that I think sort of flipped a switch now.
Because remember, the past couple of years, Thibodeau was riding those players so hard because he had to.
Right, he had to when Rose was out, and Joakim Noah was the Defensive Player of the Year last year, and I mean, he was doing everything, getting triple doubles here and there, and Now he doesn't have to do as much, but he's still very good. I wish Joakim Noah would stop passing from the top of the key, because a lot of times he does that and then he just turns the ball over. I think he's more of an interior inside passer. I mean, he's a good passer no matter what, and it's nice to have like a center type who can pass. But I wish he would limit his turnovers. I think he has a lot of turnovers. I don't know if I can find the stats on that, but. Yeah, he definitely has a lot of turnovers, but they're playing in Milwaukee tonight. And then they play in Milwaukee Saturday. I think that's at 4:30 p.m. Central Time. So that'll be a good test for the Bulls, to beat these young Bucks who aren't ready for the big stage. So.
Oh man, if it's at 4:30, that'll probably be 80% Bulls fans if it's at 4:30 and the Bulls win tonight.
Yes, I'm thinking so. I hope there's a lot of Bulls fans there. That would be exciting.
They could just drive up and then drive back after the game.
Right, and it wouldn't do much. I know it's supposed to rain really hard Saturday, but at least there's no snow in the forecast, because that would be scary.
Did you see all the snow at the
snow.
Tigers and Yankees game yesterday?
I did. That was not good for David Price. He gave up, 6 runs in the first inning?
Mm-hmm, yes. Ooh. He usually doesn't pitch well against the Yankees, though, for some reason.
That's the thing about David Price. I mean, he's a great pitcher, and he has really good outings. I feel like he blows up too much to be considered, one of the best in the game. He has those games where he'll give up, 5 or 6 runs in an inning.
And it's all against the Yankees. Remember, last year he gave up, 10 straight hits in an inning, and that was against the Yankees.
Right, and then, he screwed up in the playoffs last year, too. So, it's just, I don't know.
Yeah, that whole pitching staff did pretty bad in the playoffs.
They did. Even Scherzer did bad.
I think Scherzer was the best, except he was okay.
Scherzer was the best, but I mean he barely threw a quality start. I
don't remember. Who did they lose to? They lost to the Orioles, right?
They lost to the Orioles.
They got swept, I think.
They got swept by the Orioles, and then Kansas City beat the Orioles in the ALCS
in a sweep.
Yes, I think that was a sweep.
That was because their first postseason loss was Game 1.
Baltimore sweeps Detroit, and Kansas City sweeps Baltimore. Who would have predicted that?
And then Kansas City also swept the Angels.
They did, yeah. They didn't lose a game.
No, their first playoff loss was Game 1 against the Giants.
Yeah, that's very interesting.
I mean, if they would have won, that would have been something. They knocked out the A's. They knocked out the Angels, they knocked out the Orioles, and they would have knocked out the Giants, except Madison Bumgarner had other ideas.
Right. I'm going back to this Chicago Bulls and Bucks game. I'm I'm wondering if someone will retaliate towards Zaza Pachulia, as he, of course, he got into it with Niko Mirotic. I wonder if we'll see, Taj or Joakim Noah,
Yeah, I mean, you kind of want that to happen, except at the
Try to
same
rough
time,
them up a little bit.
they've just been dominating so much in the series. There's no reason to give the Bucks a